Hey everyone, Zane here. Once again, I'm going to go through another part that's in the journal, and today I'm going to talk about which is on this page here on the paperback version of the journal, which is on, well, it's titled Visualization, often called imagery in the field of sports psychology. But visualization, I've used that word there because people understand what that is. They've probably heard that word a lot more, and visualization is kind of just creating that movie in your mind, that image of maybe your performance in a sporting context. So what you're going to go out and do, you'll rehearse that or imagine that aspects of that maybe that you worried about or you want to work on. You will create that image in your mind and systematically, which means you're like putting in the practice through imagery on a regular basis, which is probably the key part that people maybe forget to do and don't do enough of. They'll sort of just maybe dabble in a bit of visualizing before a big event without having a system of training. I guess it's mental training. So how it works, in simple terms, you can think of it like, well, when you create an image in your mind, when you imagine something, when you experience something, it's sending the same messages through your nervous system to your muscles as it would if you were actually doing it. Not as strong, the messages. It's not like you're actually practicing or performing. But it's using that same neural networks and the neural, real estate, if you will, in the brain. It's using the same areas, and they've measured that where they get people to do a task, and then they get them to do a task in their heads, and they see that it's firing up the same regions in the brain. So it sort of makes sense that if you do some imagining, do some mental practice, that's going to help sort of encode and imprint that performance that you want in just like practice would. It's not as effective as actually going out and practicing, but alongside your practice or alongside all the physical stuff that you do, it can really add to your performance. And it can do other things like help you manage anxiety, because anxiety often comes along because of uncertainty of what might happen, what's it going to be like out there, and just having some things clear in your mind that are going to be there, and you've been there already in your head, like you've imagined it and you've experienced it, will really help, because you'll step out there and it's like anything. If you feel like you've been there before, if you know the space and you know what you're going into, then there's going to be a bit of slightly less, hopefully, anxiety around where you are and when you're about to perform. So that's one. I mean, there's loads of other ways you can use visualization or imagery. Other examples might be when you're injured, imagining using that muscle or doing that movement that you can't do as a way of sort of being able to practice without being able to practice. You could again use it to prepare in certain ways. People use imagery as part of pre-shot routines or pre-performance routines in sports like golf or the archeries and the darts and the shooting sorts of sports that require you to pace the time in yourself, so you have time to go, right, I'm going to imagine what I'm going to do and then I'm going to do it. Rugby goal kicking, penalty taking and football, those sorts of things, all good times to imagine, rehearse, go through what you want to do. And it's one of those things that can be taken probably a little bit too far, and people sort of talk about the magic of just visualizing what you want and it will happen instantly, the secret type thing, which would be nice. And I think there is some benefit to really imagining yourself in the future in a different capacity, achieving your goals, those sorts of things. There's great benefit there. It's helping give you direction, motivate your daily actions, all those sorts of things. But it's not, I wouldn't my perspective wouldn't be to say, hey, it's magic, just imagine it and it will happen. It's more, hey, get a vision clear in your head, go there in your mind, imagine that, and that will help guide you on your way through probably increased motivation, through an awareness of the path that you're on, and knowing a little bit more and a little bit being a little bit less uncertain, I guess. So there's lots to talk about imagery, visualization, but I'm coming up 5 minutes, so I'm going to stop it there. That's my rule. But if you've got any questions, fire away, and yeah, by all means. Thank you. Cheers.